You're listening to Destination University, a podcast for college-bound teens and the parents, mentors, and educators who support them. If that is you, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Welcome to episode number 83, Keep St. Mary's Weird, a conversation with David Hautanen, Vice President of Enrollment at St. Mary's College in Maryland. Today, join me in learning about St. Mary's College from David and hear him share the one thing applicants should not do in their college essays. You are in for a treat today. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Cynthia Colomb, founder of Dream College Academy and College Essay Bootcamp. Welcome to Destination University, where we explore extraordinary people who lived ordinary childhoods and found a pathway to college. By being here today, it makes you a rock star. So congratulations to you, and let's welcome our guest, David. Wow, okay. Hello there, David. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, very well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Oh my goodness. So you mentioned just before we went live that on the day of this recording, it is March 17th. It is St. Patrick's Day, and you are wearing you're green, I see.
I am. I'm wearing the only green article of clothing that I have, which is a green polo shirt. So I have that dressed up with a sweater and my khakis. So I'm trying to look as professional as possible, but yet celebrate the day at the same time. After work, I'm looking forward to going to our dining room here on campus, and we have sort of a traditional Irish dinner as part of the meals for this evening.
Oh my goodness.
I'm very excited about that.
Please tell me you're going to have some Irish soda bread today, which is my favorite thing.
It's going to be the corned beef, the boiled carrots, potatoes, and cabbage, and the soda bread. Oh. And our dining hall here is tremendous. That won't be soda bread that's brought in. They bake everything on premise.
Oh, so exciting. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. Well, I've got my like sort of blue-green nail polish, so that
there you go.
Something. There you go. Well, I'm so happy to have you. You were a guest a couple times on our Dream College Academy as a guest panelist, and I just thought that you have a good story, good background, and could be an inspiration for some others out there, so parents who are listening, and then obviously their teenagers as well. And St. Mary's College, no relation to the other St. Mary's colleges around the country. So we're going to learn today a bit about St. Mary's College in Maryland. So why don't you start by sharing with our audience a bit about St. Mary's and what you love most about it, and if we were, in the days that we're sitting literally in your office at the campus, what would we see outside your window?
Sure, that's a great question. Well, St. Mary's College of Maryland is located in a historic St. Mary's city on the banks of the St. Mary's River in St. Mary's County. So, it's interesting. Many people assume we are a Catholic institution, and as our name, as you might guess, really refers to our location. St. Mary's City was the first capital of the state of Maryland. The colony was founded as a refuge from religious persecution. The original settlers, who are Catholic, had fled England to escape the persecution of the 17th century at that point. And then after about 75 years here in this location, the capital was moved to Annapolis, which I think our students would know that Annapolis is the capital of the state of Maryland, right? We were then founded in 1840 as a monument school to the founding of the state of Maryland. So we were located in St. Mary's City, and the larger campus itself is abuts historic St. Mary's City, which is the land upon which the indigenous peoples and the settlers and the enslaved lived during that period. It's a really interesting relationship between the two, because we've got our campus, and then right next door we have what we call historic. And on historic, there is a replica of the first State House here in Maryland. There is a replica of the first Jesuit Catholic Church in the country. And then there is a replica of the Dove, which is one of the ships that brought the original 200 settlers over from England to the New World, as they would say. The other ship was called the Ark. Also, so that's as developed as St. Mary's City is. It's absolutely beautiful. But one of the things, as they've done archaeological digs and exploring and getting a sense of what did the actual city look like, as they found replicas of or evidence of structures in the ground, they've actually built what we call ghost structures, which is simply the frames of the building as they would have imagined them there. So as you're driving past campus, you will see the fields and you'll see the Jesuit church, but then you also see these, as we said, called ghost structures. One of the fascinating, so as there's always archaeological work being done in St. Mary's City. And indeed, if we want to build here on campus, we have to do an archaeological dig to ensure that we're not disturbing anything that is of import. But we're about to announce, or St. Mary's City is about to announce the finding of a really significant finding. Wow. Yes, and that is going to really tell the story of settlers during that time and the relationship between the indigenous people, the settlers, and the enslaved. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. And we thank Gosh for ground penetrating radar, which helps identify things. And then it's just been interesting to watch the work of folks from the college as well as from historic St. Mary's City, and that includes our students, are in there in the ground doing this fascinating research. So needless to say, this is a fascinating place to be from a historic standpoint. And as a history buff, I just love this aspect of being on campus. The other thing, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to inject because, you made some, connections, and you're there on the East Coast in Maryland. I'm in California. There's lots of more history on the East Coast. I mean, I lived in New York, for a bit, and so I love the history there. But also, just as a country, we're so much younger than England. So I love all the connections, but there is a lot of history there. So I love what you said. That there's the campus, and then there's historic, which has other things there too. I cut you off. So finish your thought, what you were about to say.
I was just really going to get into talking a little bit, as you were saying, imagine what it's like if you were at your desk. I'm very fortunate that I'm actually really at my desk. And I've been able to be at my desk for a number of months. And I appreciate that, because certainly working at the dining room table has been a challenge for so many different people in terms of the work that you try to accomplish on a day-to-day basis. So, as I'm sitting here, at my desk, one of the things that I really love is the view that I have. And it's not a traditional campus view in so many ways. And that is because, I've talked a bit about historic, but the college itself is located on the banks of the St. Mary's River. So we have tremendous waterfront property. For some of our students, this is going to be the best waterfront property they can ever afford, in their lives. But as I look out over my right shoulder here, I see the water, and it really resonates with me because I grew up on Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and, just grew up on the beach. So to be able to see the water every single day while I'm working really creates this nice balance of beauty and inspiration as I'm doing my work. But also towards the end of the day, and this is also a tradition for students on campus, I will go out to my office when I'm here and it's sunset time and just watch the sun go down over the St. Mary's River. And it's just absolutely stunning to be able to see. There are, as a student tradition, we have a number of Adirondack chairs in front of the admission building, which is located right here, that they can sit at. Other students like to go to the dining hall and will take their meals to go. And there's a patio and a porch at the admission building, and you'll always find students sitting there having their dinners, watching the sun go down. So sunsets here are just a really special part of our tradition.
Okay, so listeners, if you're listening or if you're watching, I like to say, get your beverage of choice and cuddle up and get your pen and paper. If you're old school like me, I'm always taking notes to write down some golden nuggets. But there are a few golden nuggets, but one I'm going to just pick up on because this hasn't come up in any of my interviews thus far, and that is the notion of waterfront property. Being able to see the water, ocean, lake, whatever, on a daily basis is inspirational. It is, I don't know, I live in California. I grew up, going to the beach myself, but I couldn't see the ocean from where I live or where I went to school, even when I went to college. But there are very few colleges around the country that have waterfront views. So just take note there, y'all. And if you were one of my students from California who says, I just need to be in a school that has ocean, because that's what we grew up in. I would say there's plenty of schools that have water nearby. So there's a plug for St. Mary's if I've ever heard one. Now, I want you to get into why. So I picked up listeners. I said this episode is Keep St. Mary's Weird, and so David, can you just explain what does that mean before we go on? And I want obviously to get to your story, your journey, but tell us a little bit more about this weirdness at St. Mary's.
So St. Mary's College is a liberal arts college. We have about 1,500 students. So we're very much in that traditional liberal arts tradition, right? As we are a public honors college, so the entire institution is an honors institution, unlike at a larger, let's say, flagship institution or a larger school where you might have an honors program. Every single student here is part of our honors program. And we see that manifests in two different ways. First of all, it's about expectation in the classroom. And it's not a competitive expectation, it's a supportive expectation. We expect that our students are going to achieve at a specific level, but it's also in how the community supports itself, and that we're a very supportive community as compared to, you tend to hear stories about institutions where, students might, because only so many students might get into graduate school from that institution, they compete against one another, right? We don't have that culture here. It's a very supportive culture. Indeed, something we have a few different sayings here. First of all, as the first public honors college in the country, dedicated, we're known as the National Public Honors College. This tradition of our supporting each other is really based on our campus ethos, which we call the St. Mary's Way, which has just been really tremendous. And we've had a really successful year this year. With the pandemic, 2/3 of students are living on campus. We've had very few cases, but it's all because of this ethos of care for one another, care for ourselves, and then care for the environment. So how does keeping St. Mary's weird fit into all of that? So that really comes down to how students think about themselves. So they like to say that among our sort of accomplished students, we really have a place for everyone. So that, you're not going to find a specific type of student here on our campus on a day-to-day basis. As my office has a number of windows around, I pretty much have a 360-degree view. I'm gonna see students walking by with their lacrosse sticks in hand, heading down to sailing practice. Californians, we do have a bunch of sailors from California on our team, as well as you're going to see students with multicolored hair, other students riding skateboards, people riding bikes. The parking lot behind me each night around 5 o'clock becomes sort of a rollerblading area, and then ultimate frisbee happens on the lawn past that. And then right behind me are our townhouses. And the townhouses are our senior housing. And you will see hammocks strung out among the trees out the back patios of those. So really keeping St. Mary's weird is, we're a place where everyone can be themselves. And students always talk about, one of the things that's important when you enroll at a college is to find your tribe, to find the people who are like you to help you fit in. And certainly that's going to be the case at St. Mary's. All students, no matter sort of their background, tend to find their tribe. But one of the things that impresses me, and I'm not a St. Mary's graduate, I went to a large flagship public institution. This is the smallest institution I've ever worked at. What really constantly just makes my heart tingle, if you will, is that the students have social groups among the various tribes. It's easy to move from one to the other, which I think is just really unique at campuses. And that's why the students call that about keeping St. Mary's weird, that our students are able to be like this, and it's just normal. And I think that does a great deal that really helps students, I think, prepare for the greater world. When you are working with people coming from diverse backgrounds and diverse beliefs and diverse perspectives, and our students, that's just learning to adopt that and move and have those conversations and have those different friends and these different friend groups, really, I think, is a great preparation for life after college.
Well, I think the best thing that what you said is find your tribe. And there's so many seniors, there's so many high school students out there who perhaps if you're in high school now, you're feeling like you're the only one, or you're the weird one, or you're the one that they say marches to the beat of their own drum, or whatever it may be. But there is a tribe, there are other people like you that exist. And so keep pushing and keep looking to find, there's thousands of colleges out there. So maybe St. Mary's is the one for you. So I love that. Find your tribe. I love it.